And welcome back to another exciting edition.
Get on my lawn!
That was completely unplanned and excellent. Today, which is just a continuation of the other days, many things at once. Competition without competition. What are your thoughts and feelings?
How about you start off explaining what this means and how this concept came to be with your skate park analogy?
Oh, God, you ruined it. You just gave it all away. So,
What are you telling me, man?
competition without competition, in a sense that
Skateboard, BMX, scooter boys?
Don't talk about scooters in my presence. So, competition without competition is the only way to say it. But say you are hanging out with friends at a skate park with some skateboards, and you are skateboarding and progressing because you are enjoying people's company and you're stoked on what your buddies are doing, and it pushes you to be better. That is kind of it, where you're competing with each other but not for a prize necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Competing for high fives and good vibes.
I
did that. That was on purpose.
Yeah.
That was for you, Chris. Competition without
No
competition.
bad days, bro.
How do you feel about that?
I'm not
I'm
a
going to ask
skateboarder.
you. I know you're not, and that's why we're going to ask you. How do you feel about drifting and drift scene? Not entirely, but also with drippy feet as a event that isn't timed, isn't scored, isn't anything. People will eventually lose interest if they are not rewarded with a win. Or do people just do things for fun?
Two very different types of people, though. Because
I know.
the OG Cap D guys, which were mostly friends who had a common interest and were just stoked to hang out and drive together and learn this new, seeing how drifting was and then just trying to emulate it and see how they got there. And it was just a lot of trial and error. And what's really weird now is just how quickly kids pick it up, whether it's from teaching or if it's just simply just kids just adapt quicker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that is, but then there's definitely certain types of people that are very competitive and want a very stringent set rules to follow to win. And we have both of them, both types.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking as someone who comes from no skateboarding or BMX background, but I was enthusiastic about.
Let's not just single out skateboarding and BMX. Let's call it action sports.
Okay, so
Extreme action sports.
So anything
Like
that's very
the Vin
physical
Diesel
to your
movie,
body.
Triple X.
So yeah, snowboarding, fruit booting, anything that involves
Everything except for razor scooters.
Yeah.
No scooter kids.
Hey, we're not allowed to talk about scooters.
That's true.
So, speaking as someone who I just hasn't had that because no physical bodies and most of my body parts are still not broken, I just enjoyed spending time with my friends, and that's also how we've come to today anyways, because a lot of those friends have gotten out of drifting and or took a sidestep from drifting, and it felt very different to stay in drifting while your friends moved on to something else.
Does
And
Chris
how
drift?
it feels kind of weird.
I don't know.
I've never actually seen it.
Yeah,
He just talks about it a lot.
Hey, I'm not mad over here. I'm the guy who drives and no one remembers that he was there. I'm like, I've driven every event this year. What are you talking about?
You following actually it was funny because it was at a Grippy Feet event, but you following Nigel in his Ferrari, he was getting bent, and then you were like full on e-brake drift behind. Oh, the sickest thing to watch.
I was very jealous that I wasn't there when the Ferrari
I'm very
was there.
surprised that car showed
So
up.
It was very.
damn
I got
cool.
videos of that. It was very
So
funny to see.
cool. Yeah. So cool. Almost as cool as the Porsche brand new GT3 Cayman at the drift school. That was pretty
Oh, I
rad.
missed that.
That is an interesting. I didn't know
That was
that.
pretty rad. Yeah. What's his name? Can't remember his name. BRZ guy.
Oh, yeah,
I know who you're talking about, but I
Yeah,
also don't
can't
know
remember his name. Terrible. I'm
Let's just
sorry.
call him Robert.
It's not Robert.
It's not. It's not.
Robert.
No, it's not. Robert.
Clearly not, but that's the name that came to mind.
Super nice guy.
Very nice guy.
Hilarious. Shredding in the Porsche.
He's the guy who drives
pretty
everything
awesome.
he has.
Yeah, he's good.
think I might have a business card in my wallet here.
So getting back to
Yeah.
whatever we're talking about.
Skate park vibes.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not a very good. That's how we drove, and that's how it was. And our scene isn't very competitive. A lot of those really competitive guys just don't show up, or they lax out and they're like they drive with their team. Like I'm forgetting names now. I am getting to be that old man who forgets everything. But there's some guys who like were very competitive and then just eventually just got fed up with the way things were and just started to have fun. They look to have more fun and whatnot and calm down.
And now they have fun.
I like the idea of sessioning, say, a corner or whatever with your buddies and trying to outdo them.
Do it earlier, do it sicker, do it faster.
Exactly, yeah.
And just pushing, everybody's pushing everybody.
Exactly. Your buddy's pushing you, your buddy just did
That
it
was
better
fucking
than
sick, bud.
your buddy just did it better than you, now you gotta try and outdo him. Like that's what I think progresses you as a driver or whoever is a driver and keeps building the sport or keeps building just whatever in general.
I agree 100%. I was saying earlier how I'm sure Matt would agree with me, but I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but I'm not. I used to compete in drifting. I'm not competitive 'cause in that manner. I don't drive in top 16 competitive drift events. Don't really have a lot of interest other than watching them, but when I'm on the line, when I'm drifting, I want to be better than whoever is lined up next to me or behind me or in front of me, whether I'm in a train or a single run or whatever. I want to.
That's why you're in competition.
Yeah, but if it isn't a competition,
no.
I still want to nose to tail with Matt, bumping into him at the start line, waiting for the guy to drop the flag, and all that's in my head is I'm gonna just waste on Matt, and I can guarantee you he's sitting in his car and he's like, "Fuck, Paul, I'm gonna fucking show him how it's done," and it's friendly competition. It has nothing to do with winning or losing. It has everything to do with just having the most fun with your friends.
That's what it
by
comes down
pushing
to.
each other. And like you get off the track and you're like, dude, that was sick. I love what you did here. I followed so much better because you did this and I was able to do this. And you come off and it's like the high five, like everybody out of their car, hands waving around, hand motion drifts, and everybody's super stoked. That's what the best part of drifting is the high fives and hugs and after a good run, and you're just like, dude, and everybody's breaking it down in their head about how sick it was. And the progression that comes from pushing your friends to be better and do better, and the camaraderie is what it's really all about. It's the best part of it all.
It's so weird because like the only time I have fun is when like Matt or Warren is in my passenger seat, and
but that goes back to friends too.
It does, and I'm stoked that you're stoked that it was a like good run and stuff, and if you hot lap it, you go more and more hard. And so when we used to have the closed off days, when we did this thing for some business execs or whatever, the Esther team like just dragged the entire wall, this hot lap after hot lap, and I was like, I did it for myself. I just kept wanting to go sooner and faster and drag more wall. And one of the last runs before the end of the day, it would just drag the entire Lego wall, and I was like, I was so scared because it was like, I know the rear end of my car should have touched by now.
Yeah.
And it was like sick. I was like stoked, and other people were stoked about it. A few that were like on the wall and stuff.
Yeah.
And it just, because I'm so forgettable for whatever reason, that no one like you drift. Like, what kind of car do you drive?
Who is
and I'm
this
like,
guy? He keeps talking about his cars.
Because he has 1,000 cars.
No one can remember which car.
It's
because you identify with the car. It's like, oh, that guy
can't even
drives
identify the cars. I'm just like, I just don't exist.
That's because he's a different one all the time.
Weird. Or like, what is that Supra thing or the black car that
You
makes
don't have your purple
noise?
beanie on today. Who are you?
Who's this guy?
I don't know. Maybe just have my self.
I don't recognize those pants either.
No, those pants are beige and different.
Weird. Is that a Camry?
Yeah.
Is that a Camry in your pocket?
Is it dented?
I'm just happy to see you.
Dented Camrys.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But I just like driving with my friends, and I'm just like, that was a lot of fun.
And
Or
that's
like almost
very
hit
much-
you or ran into you or
That's
whatever.
very much like skateboard vibe. Like,
It's the
you
opposite.
just go skate and have fun, and you push each other and teach each other and you're like, I figured this out, I figured that out, and that does exist in competition drifting, and you'll see it all the time. And it's awesome when you do see moments like watching FD and there's someone who crashes and everybody jumps in. All the other teams, like your fiercest competition, is in there lending you tools and parts and seeing what they can do.
I want you to come back to kick, try and
seeing what they can do to get your car back on, because they want you to be at 100% so you guys can go and shred. Like,
is that like an Iceman Maverick thing where they like it's that passion that they hate each other that drives them to be better, to outnumber you, but it's not in a camaraderie way. It's just a mutual respect for your abilities. I just don't agree with what you say, but you are the best you're my closest competition.
Yeah, and there is that switch. If you're a competitive enough, if you're a person who's in FD, top level motorsport, whatever, you're gonna be.
Someone else could take your job. Is probably.
Well, you're gonna have a different personality trait too than someone who's never gonna go beyond grassroots. Like, you had to try to get there. It didn't just happen. You're gonna put some effort in, but
there's certain guys who started out at the bottom who were like adequate drifters who sold themselves very well, who are still in the game today because all they do is follow that American capitalistic way of
play the game.
Sell myself. I'm gonna make money at this stupid hobby.
Yep.
And I'll sell your products. I don't give a shit. Just give me money. And it's like, holy fuck, this sucks.
That's how it's done. You can see it in some people's eyes in their YouTube videos and their paid sponsorships. They're holding their bottle of Yahoo. They're like, drink Yahoo, bro. I love it. It'll make you great. You can see some of them hate it and they feel like they've sold out, and other people are just like fully embrace it. Like, bro, the fizz gets in my nose and it's sick. You can see who's like fully just embraced it, and other guys who struggle with it.
If you want to succeed, you just gotta suck that proverbial dick.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like you said, like, you get guys, they don't want to win by default or like by someone bowing out of competition. Like,
that's the worst feeling.
I want to go against you at 100%, the best you can do and the best I can do, and I want to beat you at that. I want you to know that I beat you fair and square. That's the mentality, right?
Yeah.
And that's the same, like, even non-competitive drifting, that's the same thing that I feel drives you at the skate park on the mini ramp. You're stoked and you're banging your stuff on the coping when someone does something, and when you get something and you get the mutual respect and camaraderie, like, that has to be the respect, and that's the feeling that you're looking for. It's not like girls throwing themselves at your feet or money. Like, do it for the fun.
Well, you do it for the respect, as cheesy as that is too. That it's nice to be acknowledged to that you something you did, that you built and you did as yourself.
You're putting yourself there, and it's nice.
Yeah, that's respect, and it's received that someone's like, you did a good job.
Yeah, and it might come off as cocky to some people and like egotistical.
It's 100% egotistical.
It is, but it's not, because you're equally, if not more, stoked for your buddy.
It is.
Like, if you got a friend who's been struggling with a trick or trying to get something, make his drift car run, like, you are more stoked than they are when they get it. Like, skate park is weird.
It is.
And you don't skateboards, you don't. But growing up on a skateboard, and the stoke level, and then as soon as someone does something, everybody goes off.
And like something crazy.
Yeah, like,
never seen it before.
Yeah, like skate park and like mini ramp sessions and like NBDs and friggin' first times and. Then
like that person or whatever created a moment.
Yeah,
everybody has been there and seen.
You have a mini ramp in a garage somewhere, and it's cold and rainy in winter, and you've got like 10 guys in there, and you're shredding. There's an energy that's pretty hard to equal.
Yeah, remember that time?
Yeah, it's so friggin' good, and a lot of it, like, I don't know, it translates a lot different because we didn't have cameras. It was impossible, and it's skateboarding and even drifting, because I don't have a camera. A lot of stuff that we've done wasn't documented ever. Like especially with skateboarding back in the day, snowboarding. We did awesome things and hilarious things and did so much stuff, and none of it ever got filmed. Whereas now it's oversaturated. Everybody's filming everything.
Yeah.
I still feel like if you're sessioning a mini ramp and you're having fun and you're with your buddies, someone's probably gonna have their phone out, and someone that is more stoked than you. You're not gonna be like, bro, I'm gonna try to get this. There's gonna be someone who's just like, he's gonna try this again. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I have this so I get that moment for him. Right? I feel like it's never something that is asked for. It's always something that's given out of respect for the skateboard scene wise. But I feel like, I don't know, media with drifting is very interesting, and media with race car tracks and stuff.
But that's an interesting segue
because media is so important to the drivers.
Yeah.
As a performance art, you build a piece of art,
very true.
And then you crash it, but it's not, because you build the perfect body, and then you have to perform the perfect ballet, right? So it's also great motivation to keep you going. I don't know, media is very important, and
like skate videos are
so
like that's a whole other art form of media in general.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't really translate into drifting, because like a skateboard you can go essentially anywhere, and drifting is very specific in terms of like street or track or whatever. You can only go on a road of some description, or a gravel road or whatever. And there's so much versatility in skateboarding, and there's also how you have music on cue, where each landing of a trick is landing on beat, and it's just like this poetic. It's mesmerizing, because even songs that you never would think of go so well with certain things, and the whole media culture
growing
of
up with skateboard videos, there's so many songs that will just randomly come on the radio or whatever, and it's just like
clicks your brain,
nostalgia, and it's just like, I fucking love this song. No idea why, other than like in the skate video, I don't even care whose part it was, but it brings me back to that stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's hilarious, the power of music and the using it in media and using it well is.
And some like soundtracks to movies too,
and a lot of wub music in drift videos 5 years ago. Oh yeah.
Honestly, the only
that worked for me.
Yeah, like I gotta say,
so well.
there's bands, and this is not drifting, but like just random YouTube videos of WRC stuff, because I love rally cars, WRCs, and I will admit that there is some Linkin Park songs that I absolutely love, even though I absolutely hate Linkin Park probably. But there's a couple videos that are set so well to their songs.
There's nothing wrong with
and
it.
If it comes on, I'm just like, yeah.
Crawling in my skin.
No, it's the I've worked so hard.
I think it's the same song.
Is it? No. I don't know. There's one with like,
I have to keep singing.
There's one that's edited perfectly, and it's like, I tried so hard, and then there's the time reference, and it like shows the clock and the countdown, and then crashes and crests, and it's so good.
Yeah. It's also the art of
the editor,
making
the
that.
editing,
yeah. No, exactly, and that's the thing that the big media guys don't get enough
credit.
I always try to find media guys and say thanks and give them high fives and whatever. It's
so different.
They hang out and do their thing, but they're practicing their art too.
Well, it depends where they are in their cycle, though. So if someone's starting out, they're like, I'm so stoked on this that I could just see this. Yeah. Give them a year or two, they get really jaded, like, give me money.
I can imagine.
There's certain individuals who are like, I will not release my photos, but you know, you're filming me, so there's a part of me that's a part. That's a whole other conversation, but
yeah.
I mean, media people are going to be how they are, and it's always nice to see that. And then there's the weird disconnect. This is where drifting separates from skateboarding. Is that those drift videos are always highlight reels of like rip, like the good part before they spin out, or the bad entry or whatever.
You gotta click it just right.
Yeah.
The thing is that, and I don't think a lot of drift videos, at least the people filming and editing them, know good enough that it's kind of like skateboarding. You don't put there's an unwritten rule. Nothing gets published if it wasn't completed. Like in skateboarding, I don't know bicycles, but like 4 Down, like my buddy Rob is a skateboard video guy, excellent filmer and editor, and he has a video that's called 4 Down. He has many videos, but one of them was called 4 Down because that's like if you get 4 down, which is all 4 wheels on the ground and both feet on it, like 4 down is you got 4 down. Whether you land it and ride away, that's the point that it gets in the video, right? You can't just put 4 down.
No,
you have to ride
the
away.
Whole thing. Yeah.
You can't get it down and edit the fall out. Like, got it down, done.
Yeah.
You have to ride away. You can't put something on the cover. You can't publish any picture that hasn't been ridden away. Whether or not, this is the sticky part for photos, doesn't have to be the same day.
Yeah.
If the photo worked out on Tuesday and you didn't ride away till Thursday, that's almost acceptable because you still did it.
Yeah.
It was still actually done on the same location.
Andrew Reynolds was a crazy, like, a perfectionist.
Yeah, he's so OCD.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reynolds is
same thing. If he got 4 down, but like 20 feet later fell off or whatever,
it has to be. Well, there's so many famous ones. There's one of Jamie Thomas with a 5-0 down some ridiculous rail, and as soon as he puts it down and he's riding away, he's like got his hand up for one more. That's not it. I got to do it again.
Yeah.
He's like, one more because my tail touched on the way down. Like he wants to be balanced on his truck. He doesn't want to be dragging tail on a mind-blowing handrail.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's not it, boys. One more, going again.
Yeah.
Like,
you gotta
that's
admire,
already perfect.
You gotta admire that though too.
Oh yeah, at that level and like the perfectionism and the and that goes where I was talking about skateboarding earlier, and I was like, I got to the point where I'll give myself a couple goes, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm not gonna get worked up, and I'm not gonna get as frustrated as I used to with it. Gotta keep it mellow and have fun.
Oh, you can always come back to it.
You can always come back, and if it's not, and that goes back to the thing, like the photo may have worked on one day, but you landed it on another, because it just isn't going to happen some days, and it's just not worth the punishment to actually get it done when you can just come back.
Yeah.
It depends. Like some people have that like sort of psychosis.
And the video, the proof is in the video or the sequence, right? Like a photo means nothing. I want to see video of that. But I feel like most drift media should understand that ish, because it's all, like we said, a lot of us come from that background. And if
you gotta look at it from a kid's point of view too, of like constant stimulation. I find more interest in like Noriyaru 2 videos where they're doing, like they went to Sportslanda Yamanashi and there was a Street S13, the red JZX Chaser, and there's a professional driver in his like semi-pro car or whatever. 3 very different styles, and it's all in-car. It's just interesting how, like, I love the Chaser because it's just the JZX, just warm it up, and then just hammer the throttle, and then just lots of bang, bang, pop, pop, and then just violentness going on. And then you got the street smooth guy who's a bit more guttural and stuff. And anyways, it's just interesting how people drive differently. There's no music, it's just simply raw footage for the most part of it being cut together from different angles. Yeah. But it's still the same run. They do a lot of in-car stuff, which is always interesting to me, how people's footwork is, how they're doing their stuff. And it's not a critical point, it's just simply you're there with them doing it. And not every single pass is good. There's things that go wrong. There's like, why are you stopping or slowing down? And it's imperfect, and that's what I find interesting. I can only watch so much of it, but like skate videos, I will watch. I don't know anything about the skaters themselves. I'm listening to it as an art piece of someone doing these amazing tricks, and their dedication to it. And they have like the falls in the videos too, and just how brutal it is, and they just keep going back for it. Cars, you're safe in a bubble. It's easy to drive. Like anyone could pick up a drift car and drive it. Whereas skateboarding and BMXing, I think skateboarding is more finite than BMX, because like I can get on a BMX and kind of like do a half-assed attempt, but skateboards, you have to have that initial balance on the board, and then to do anything else is just like so much extra. A BMX could definitely hurt you more, like we were talking about earlier, but it's more accessible. So that's the S13 versus Corolla, and really I don't really feel like a Corolla is that much more further away from a 240 than like a skateboard is to a BMX. Like skateboards to me are these people dedicate their time and energy and bodies to that sport, and then to be that much better in land tricks and be OCD to like, that just blows me away as this whole other level of person, rather than some stupid drift car that any kid could do. And that goes into like the character of the car and the driver and their driving skill and stuff. And when you see a car that is so wild and weird and it's driven in a certain fashion that's just like holy crazy, like your car is a certain way and your driving is a certain way, and then Warren's car is a certain way and he drives the way he does, which is he's really just a JZX kid in like a small car, really.
It's just a miniature JZX.
So I should rephrase that too, because JZX guys in general, of the general public to me, are raised up cars with like 285s all the way around, some dumb kit. It doesn't look good. It's fast, but it's so dumb looking, and it's just it makes me cry. Cool. But I fucking love my car, so I'm like, this is the way a JZX should be.
Oh yeah, you hate lifted up JZX cars, don't you, Paul?
Yeah, I hate everything.
The hate comes out.
Damn 4x4 and
fucking scooter kids.
Yeah. Well, they just work better full height. I understand.
They do.
When you just want to bolt parts
They
on.
don't look good.
It doesn't look as cool.
No.
But part of looking cool, I don't know. I have a philosophy of make it low and then lower it some more, and then if stuff hits, you cut it out, and if it doesn't work, you fix the geometry, but you keep it at the same height. Coilovers only adjust down. They are not made to go up. Once you put it down, you can't come back up. But
I've raised my car a few times.
Yeah, with that said, I incrementally, slowly shift things and bring them back up to where it actually works.
Sometimes it's too low. It doesn't work properly.
I was just rubbing like crazy at the practice a while ago, and I came up like one turn, and it doesn't rub the tires anymore.
Good enough.
Yeah. It
doesn't even make a change aesthetically. It just works
you
better.
could literally not tell anything is different, but the tires have letters on the sidewall at the end of the day instead of slowing me down by rubbing constantly.
You need flares that adjust as you drive. Like the Supras, the tops aren't even bolted, so when you go to full lock, it
they
pushes
move
the
around.
fenders out.
Yeah, well, for the longest time, the fiberglass fenders that I have sitting around, they were never bolted at the bottom. They just flapped around, like, so when you were at lock and your wheel rubbed, they just popped out of the way. And I was toying with spring mounts for the bottom, so they kind of sucked back in but bounced out.
That's funny.
Fiberglass is nice and forgiving that way. It moves around, but when you get all metal, it kind of doesn't work as well, but it kind of works good too, because it just...
Speaking of that, when I had to get the JZX aligned, I had one bolt was missing in the bottom of the fender because I messed up one of my doors, and I left it out because I don't know what the reason was for that. I was going to do it because it was hard to get to or something, and then went to go get it aligned, and you have to do the sweep, and the way these arms are, they go on the outside of the tires, so when you sweep, it hits. So I took out the other fender bolt on the bottom so the fenders could come out because they had like wings, and that worked properly. So I get what you're talking about. But also it's weird, like when you watch an S13 and you see every S13, the fenders are like flopping out like this. And you're like, oh, it's disgusting. It makes a terrible photo. I like the idea of having springs that you're talking about to like come back.
They kind of suck in, Well, there's some that are just like the fender is broken and they're just flapping away in the breeze.
Yeah, but like
and other ones they just kind of rub through and move around. Depends how you're set up. And then there's the little radius that happens, like on Simba's front fenders from at lock. And it just rubs through the glass and makes its own room. Same with Nigel from Australia. His fenders always clearance themselves.
Or you could just radius it properly and raise it up, but also lower the car.
It doesn't look as good.
Well, it's little things.
That's the thing. That's like when people put overs on or fenders on their car and put them at a higher or put them lower on the body so it looks fake low. And it just turns into a hippo on roller skates. It gets that weird look.
Those EF Civic with the wires on it.
It was so gross. The car was actually like at a decent height.
So it makes it look fake low.
Yeah.
It was low, but it was like extra.
That's like a JZX. You got to put those skirts, that BN kit on there to make it look body low, but it's not.
And even that,
it's just kit low. Kit low doesn't work.
And they raise the fenders, and then they got these giant tires that have massive clearance on them.
Yeah, I can
sad.
I can get down with it, but I prefer a low car. If you're trying to jump drift at a Bisu, you kind of need a lifted X chassis because they don't really work when they're lowered. The front gets weird.
It's fun.
Ask Daigo; he'll tell you all about it.
My car's fun.
Yeah, but you're max strut. You're not a proper JZX.
It is. It is the original JZX.
Yeah, but it's not a proper one. It doesn't have.
Well, it's not. It's Crescent.
Doesn't have double wishbone front.
No,
that's
that's
JZX.
well, JZX 81 and JZX 90 were both the
They're
same.
not even real.
Yeah, they are. That's where it starts. This isn't a real Corolla then. You need your front wheel drive and have like dumb beige exterior with beige seats.
Camry.
Get an AC pump in there.
It must be
Well,
a
you're eating
Camry.
Cheetos.
Yeah, Cheetah.
Cheetos. I don't want Cheetos in there. Do
Chris comes over to my house the other day. And we give him Cheetos. He's like, "This just tastes beige."
It's just.
I think I lost taste in my mouth.
Now, whenever Angel eats them, she's like, beige.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure my mouth was like annihilated. I think I had too many beers and whiskey at that time. So we got our cat tattoos.
Oh, nice.
They were jalapeno cheddar and they were like stale, I think, or old. Something was
They're
weird about them.
fresh.
Were they?
Yeah.
Really old fire Cheetos.
They're good. Gotta eat that beige.
Be sure to go to your local 7-Eleven and get some Cheetos tonight.
Some
No,
beige
some
Cheetos.
Beige
Beigeos.
Beige Cheetos.
It's just khaki pants. Why am I eating khaki pants, man?
Because we just came from the skate park. Are we going anywhere with skate parks?
That's up to you. Do you have any more to talk about it?
Bro.
Just
No.
talk about your scooter, kids. Get on your rage rant.
Oh, God. No, I can't.
It's okay.
Don't get me all worked up again.
Dude, you were swearing so much at barbecue.
I don't
Post barbecue
I
sweats.
don't want to say things that I'll regret on camera.
You can edit it or not release it. You're the one with the files. I don't care. Why don't you just become a me and just yell at everything? Like, what the hell's wrong with that
Because
guy?
they have
Who is he? I don't even know who he is.
They
Why does he
have
drive cars? I don't
an
know.
identity of
Beige Corolla owner.
beige Corollas.
Paul doesn't like scooters. We'll leave it at that.
I don't like scooters. They're the lowest common denominator. The worst. Skate parks are done. Have
think
fun.
so.
Push each other. Give each other high fives.
Teach the young kids if you know something.
Yeah, exactly.
Progression.
Punch that guy out that it needs to be.
Yeah, get in a
Sock
fight.
him right in
Get in
the
a fight
face.
with the BMX guys because they're dicks.
Oh no.
And I'm
Don't let those BMX guys in your skate park.
My heart.
Remember, it's called a skate park,
Hey,
not,
sharing is caring. Back.
not an all-wheel luxury entertainment system.
Resort.
Hey,
Resort.
you have more wheels than a BMX does, though.
Yeah,
Your two BMXs
It's
put
not-
together.
yeah.
Wheeler?
the more wheels, the better. To get one of those salamander things with a million wheels on them.
What is that?
You gonna sign off for us, Chris?
Oh yeah, get off my lawn, man.